Hi folks, my name is Adam and I like to make tiny nerdy things, and we had our first snowfall of the year here, so I made a snowman. Of course, all our snow melted within a few hours, so I had to make mine out of aluminium foil. I could have just stopped here and called it good, but I think a bit of embellishment will go a long way, so I'll slap a coat of clay onto my bottommost ball until the whole thing is covered. I'll then do the same for the other segments to create a slightly less shiny snowman. However, the posture of this particular snowman appears a bit too correct, so I'll jam some little wires into his segments so I can give him that healthy kyphosis tilt more commonly seen in French cathedral bell ringers. Then, once I've smoothed my balls so they fit neatly atop one another, I can get to work making his face. Also, at some point I've painted myself into a corner calling him a him and he a snowman, so I guess I'll just call him Kevin from here on out. Kevin's kind of a renegade in that he's sort of a 4-bald snowman rather than the 3-bald body type Hollywood is always trying to shove down our throats, since his head is sort of a separate 4th segment that's growing out of what would normally be the 3rd facial sphere. However, I think it's kind of necessary since fitting a face of that size into a standard trifecta of spheric body segments would look weird. This, on the other hand, somehow looks right. However, in keeping with the traditional snowman aesthetic, Kevin's nose is still going to be a carrot, though in hindsight, I regret not making it look like it's been partially eaten with little teeth marks in it. I'll poke a little hole in the center of Kevin's face to fit his nose, then I'll do the same on either side so I can fit some big black coal eyes in place. I'll then add some strategically placed little clay sausages in all the right places to turn this otherwise happy snowman face into a decidedly less friendly, soon to be filled with children's appendages, snowy abomination. Of course, Kevin's transition to the dark side won't be complete without a full set of teeth, so once I've made sure his mouth is appropriately mouthy looking, I'll set him to the side and start making some teeth. I considered giving Kevin a second-hand set of human teeth, but decided in the end that a whole pile of tiny icicles would fit the aesthetic a bit better, so I'll take a sheet of waxy clay and carve little grooves into it that I can then fill with UV resin. Once I've made sure that the molds are completely filled, I can blast it with a UV light to set the resin in place and make it possible to pop them out, leaving me with a pretty good ice-like little spike. I'll then pop the rest of the denticle icicles out of the mold so I can jam them into Kevin's mouth. And rather than a single row of teeth, I figured since Kevin hasn't got a tongue, I can give him multiple rows of teeth like a shark has, which also adds to his lore since it implies that as he breaks his teeth, new ones grow in their place. Now with all those teeth in place, it's time to pull them all right back out, since I can't put the resin in the oven and at some point I'm gonna need to bake his body. Speaking of which, I want to exaggerate the lumpiness of his snowy body, so I'll poke and prod lots of little lumps into his balls, then roll them flat with a silicone shaper to remove the fingerprints. Then I can set him aside and get to work making an assortment of little limbs. I wanted to make it apparent that Kevin is roaming the neighborhood ingesting the local children, but the thought of making a whole bunch of little kids out of clay makes my balls itch, so I'm gonna cheat in the name of artistic license by making a bunch of little limbs to stick out of Kevin's bottom ball. To that end, I started by making a little leg with a snow boot that I'll wrap in a thick snowsuit and wrinkle in texture accordingly before setting it aside so I can make a similarly sized single mitten poking out of the arm of a similarly wrinkled and textured second snowsuit. With that, I've got 2 terrific looking little snowsuit limbs that I can fit into Kevin's bottom ball by poking some big divots into his lumpy lower segment and fitting the limbs inside. I'll then repeat this process a bunch more times until I've got a whole slew of limbs sticking out at different angles to imply that it isn't just one unfortunate child trapped in a snowy prison, but a whole neighborhood's worth of them. Finally, with my little limbs in place, I'll add some little lumps of clay around the divots and blend and smooth them into Kevin's body, leaving the edges more pronounced so it looks like the little limbs are bursting out of his snowy carapace. To make his segments look a little more singular, I'll add some little snowy fat folds between the sections so he's a bit more wrinkly. Then I can break out my multi-use cheese knife and squish some little balls onto the blade and shape them into gem-like little lumps that I can then blast with my air gun to harden so I can pop them off the knife and stick them into Kevin's middle to make the fancy gem-like coal buttons. Finally, before I baked the body for the first time, I figured his back was a bit too flat, so I added some little lumps and blended them out to give Kevin's kyphosis some spinal lumps for added visual flair. Otherwise, once the body's been baked, I'll drill 3 holes on each side of Kevin's body so I can fit 6 lengths of armature wire into said holes. I'll then bend these into a creepy 6-armed pose, then get to work making some little metal hands. To make these little metal hands, I'll take my thinnest gauged armature wire and loop it back on itself, twisting the wire into somewhat evenly sized fingers to create 3 fingers and a thumb that I can then attach to Kevin's arm with some aluminium tape before repeating this process 5 more times to make the full set. Finally, I'll flex the fingers into extra grabby positions before beginning the entwigging process, which involves wrapping each of the little metal wires in a thin layer of clay until everything is covered. Normally, making 6 long slender arms with 6 long slender fingered hands on the end of each would be an absolute nightmare. However, Kevin's arms are made of wonky twigs and tree branches, so I don't actually want them nice and smooth, since all that lumpy, poorly blended clay will just end up being extra texture and detail. Not only that, but I'll add some extra lumpy bits and little knots and gnarled offshoots to really highlight the wonky woody texture as much as possible. Eventually, Kevin's looking pretty smart, but he's missing that one thing that will really bring him to life: his hat. To make Kevin's hat, I'll start with a little lasagna sheet of clay that I can cut a little circle out of, then I'll stick a lumpy cone onto the top and blend it into the circle to make the general shape of the hat, before popping it off the desk and carving the center out so that I can fit it neatly onto Kevin's head. A little more shaping will turn this slightly misshapen traffic cone into a decidedly spookier witch hunter hat, at which point I can start to texture it by wrinkling the top and cutting lots of little scratches and nicks into the brim. Otherwise, with the hat finished, the last thing to do before Kevin gets his final bake is to cover the insertion points of each of his spooky sextuplet of branch limbs and little snowy patches in much the same way I did for the little children's limbs sticking out of his bottom section. And with that, Kevin is finally finished and ready for a snow white coat. Given how much of Kevin is made of snow, it makes sense to simply blast his whole body in a layer of white with the airbrush, since getting an even coat by hand would take forever. I figured if his teeth are icicles and he's a big snowy boy, it would make sense to give his mouth a cold, icy blue tone before moving on to painting his arms with a dark brown base coat, followed by a stippling with a slightly lighter brown, followed by a sponging with an even lighter tone, before spot painting some of the cracks and missing pieces of bark. I'll then work my way around the bottom half, painting each of the snowsuit sections of the limbs with a variety of colors to help sell the idea that it's a lot of different bodies stuffed into Kevin's lower half, making sure to add as much texture and variety as I can to each of the colors by adding subsequent lighter layers on top. I'll then paint the cuffs with some grays and the boots with several shades of blacks and dark grays before painting the little mittens and finishing off the exposed hands, as well as my favorite off-screen addition, which was this little hand barely breaking the surface of Kevin's backside. I can then paint Kevin's hat with a solid black, followed by a couple shades of lighter grays dry brushed into the brim to give it a little extra texture and highlight its shabbiness, followed by a dirty reddish brown around the fabric in the middle. I'll then paint each of the buttons with a black, followed by a gray edge highlighting before painting the carrot with a bright orange that I'll tone down with a sepia wash. Finally, I can paint Kevin's eyes with a deep, soul-destroying black before setting him aside and breaking out the secret sauce that will turn Kevin from a clay sculpture into an honest-to-God abominable snowman, fake snow. I'll repaint the entirety of Kevin's flat white surface with a layer of watery PVA glue, then sprinkle the fake snow over the top until I've got a nice solid layer, working my way down each segment until I reach the bottom where I drilled some holes so I can stick a thick wire into Kevin's underside so I have something to hold on to. A quick tap 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 will dislodge the excess snow and I can remove the wire and add all of Kevin's teeth painstakingly back into their predetermined places. When I was removing his teeth, I tried to lay them out in the same order that I removed them in the hopes that it would make reattaching them easier. Finally, with a full set of teeth, I figured the only thing left to do is add a little frost for effect, since I happen to have a little bottle of this saline solution for just that purpose and I don't often get a chance to use it. Once I've dripped it over Kevin's victims, I'll set it aside to solidify, at which point I'm left with some terrific little frosty icicles forming on each of the body parts. And I also put some in his teeth for added effect. Finally, the last thing to do then is give Kevin a scarf, which I'll make out of this tartan fabric I have left over from when I tried to culturally appropriate the locals. I'll cut a strip off the end, then soak it in some PVA glue so I can wrap it around Kevin's neck. With that, then we're all done here and on to the glamour shots. As always, a big ol' thank you to the fine folk over on Patreon, and a special hey how are you to the newest of them, Nikita Kennedy, Madeline and Xavier, I Love Olivia Halford, Mr. T and Rexa D, Christy Fancher, XOXO DJ Megan Brendan, Kenish, Yavanna Anna Dunyel, Happy 16th Smegalosaurus, Catherine, Ham Sando, and Chubaza. You are the wonky hat and scarf combo that bring this multi-limbed, child-consuming channel to life. As always, the thing and stuff and buttons and smashing, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.